A biblical perspective on life, culture and current events. This is 2020 on Vision.
A dark cloud is descending on the world in which we live. Social media platforms, which began as an opportunity to connect to old school friends or friends overseas, have evolved into instruments of control that individuals and organizations are using through Meta to control people that don't say the accepted narrative. One such individual that's had an experience with Meta recently is Maryka Groenewald from the Australian Christians Party, and she joins us to tell us her story today. Maryka, welcome.
Thank you so much.
So, Maryka, everyone has a story, and you have a story. Tell me about your experience with Meta and with social media platforms in general.
Well, it seems like a bit of a David and Goliath battle, really. But I've suspected for a while that our reach hasn't quite been what it used to be. I mean, we've got 36,000, almost 37,000 active followers on our Facebook page, always been very engaging. The content, we pour a lot of time and effort into putting content together. And since last year, I noticed when we were involved, of course, in the abortion legislation reforms here in Western Australia, that some things were quite awry and our reach was limited. The amount of people that even saw our posts was limited. So we thought, well, hang on. We're actually going to try and get in touch with Meta, if that's even possible, because these days you can't get a human being to even talk to you about these things. So, yes, we put through a request to go, why are you suppressing our page, pretty much? And, of course, what came back was pretty telling.
Okay, so what was the initial response to the email you sent? Now, firstly, how long did it take for you to get a response?
Look, a couple of days, admittedly, but this is the thing with these big companies, right? And you would have heard over the last couple of years, people being scammed, not being able to even get their pages removed. I mean, this is just part of such a broader issue with Meta in general. But for us, we thought, okay, well, we're going to actually ask why our page is limited. Have we got all these violations against us? What have we done that actually constitutes us having our reach limited? So the initial response from Meta was, hey, we've checked out your page, nothing wrong with it, doesn't breach any community standards. In fact, you are actually a recommended page. So that obviously sent some red flags through, because we were going, well, if there's no complaints, if we don't have any violations, why is it that Meta is actually telling us that they have limited our reach? And that's what the email came back with. Yes, you've got a great reputation. Yes, you're a recommended page. But yes, we have actually limited your reach. And they just left it at that.
So they told you that they have limited your reach. So in Australia in 2024, it is possible to literally censor people or cancel people that organisations and social media platforms don't agree with their political views.
100% right. And I think this is the worrying thing that we thought, hang on, we need to pursue this, not just for the sake of our organisation, but of course in response to this, we've had a plethora of other conservative Christian organisations going, well, look, good on you guys for actually getting some evidence as to what they're doing. But of course, this has been happening to a lot of pages, conservative pages across Australia.
And I'd say across the world, because I know that there's been a couple of reports that have come out from the previous Twitter company, which has now changed its name to X, that former employees have literally said, IT people, that there were algorithms built into Twitter that worked against anyone who was conservative, anyone speaking out against abortion or illegal immigration or climate change or anyone who was pro-Trump. They were literally censored and they were cancelled and their influence was decreased. So this is a worldwide issue, isn't it?
100%. I mean, for me, the interesting thing was when we reached out to Meta initially, their response was, well, yes, you've got a restriction placed on your account that affects your reach to a tiny number of your audience. I mean, that's actually what they said. We've actively restricted your account to a tiny number of your audience, and it can't be cleared at this time. They didn't give any reason for it. It's just like, well, too bad, too sad. We've made this decision and, this is what it is. So luckily, having a few people involved, we went back to them and go, well, hang on. if you are saying to us that there's a reason for this reach being limited, well, tell us what it is. And then in response, now going, oh, no, sorry, just ignore the previous email that you were sent. It does appear that all is in order with your account. But of course, no assurance of anything being rectified, no assurance of the reach actually being rectified. So you just, like you said, you just never know with these algorithms and with these massive companies what they are actually doing to restrict speech.
Oh, absolutely. And not just speech, but influence, because I know even with me, Maryka, I mean, I'm not as big a deal as you are on social media, but like on my Facebook page, for example, if I update my profile shot or take a photo of one of my kids and say happy birthday, I'm just looking at one now. So earlier this year, 97 likes, 23 comments for my daughter's birthday in April, and this is McLennan.Andrew if you want to check this out to see that it's actually true. And then last week I did this beautiful photo of the Brisbane cityscape early in the morning when I was praying. I quote a Bible verse, the Lord loves your city, and then I quote from Jonah, and would I not have compassion on that great city of Nineveh, Jonah chapter 4 verse 11, and I say, pray for your city, town or village, this is Brisbane City as the sun rises. Well, we've had a total of 12 likes, and it's taken a week to get 12 likes, which means obviously not as many people have seen that post. So there's definitely things, and that's not an offensive post. Pray for your city. I would have thought, every religion in the world prays. It's so generic. So it's definitely these algorithms are working against conservatives and against Christians and against really anyone that is not saying the party line. It feels like, Maryka, that we're living in East Germany, doesn't it, 40 years ago?
And that's not where it ends. I wish that's where it ends. When you look at, of course, the implementation of AI across all these channels now, in response to our email, we also went back to them because we said, well, hang on, you guys have actually, through your AI, labelled us as the most dangerous party in Western Australia. Even the language.
Hang on. Most dangerous party? What are you doing? Are you arming up and getting ready for a revolution?
Right.
Honestly, are you making bombs? How dangerous is the Australian Christian Party? What? Oh, hang on. Are you reading the Bible, Maryka? Is that what you guys are doing?
Obviously, that's dangerous.
Whoa.
That's very dangerous.
Lock you up.
I know. So, even one of the responses from the AI bot was like, we're the party that is least deserving of community support. So we're not just talking about the algorithms here. Of course, you and I know AI is everywhere. Young people are interacting with it. They're actually now more so relying on it. So even what that's sort of generating and putting out there, people, especially young people, they're sort of reading that going, oh, well, hang on, this AI thing has said this Christian party is terrible and least worthy of community support. So it's even the information that Meta is throwing out there is so terrible and dangerous, actually. We're not the dangerous ones. I think we need to be pointing fingers back at them, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's horrible language to say that the Australian Christian Party of WA, who believe in charity, in love, in faith, in good works, in treating even the sinner with love and dignity and respect. Christianity, if you just step back, let's pretend there was no God. It's the most beautiful religion the world's ever seen because it causes its followers to do good to the undeserving and to the non-believer. Tell me another religion that treats the non-believer with such dignity and respect and love as Christianity. And for any robot or any organisation or social media platform to call the Australian Christian Party the most dangerous party in their state, that is just messed up.
I know. And, this is the irony, right? With our posting, we're so careful. There's a mix of obviously political content on there, but it's about proclaiming the love of Christ, right? So even so much of our content speaks exactly about that, the dignity of people. Why is it that Christians think differently about policy? Why is it that we approach legislation differently? Why is it that we talk about, the gender issues around our children and our family? There's so much good that comes through the content. And of course, to have this AI bot say that, we've got a narrow focus on religious values, which can lead to divisive and exclusionary policies, it's just so worrying.
Well, it's messed up. So what do we do, Maryka, moving forward? What is the Australian Christian Party of WA going to do now? Because it looks like this dark cloud has definitely descended upon our society. So what do we do now? What are you going to do moving forward?
Well, look, we're not going to obviously stop, and we're going to keep asking these guys to, every time there's an issue, we're going to keep resubmitting it. But it just, again, places that importance. You know, obviously we know that social media is just one prong of how we need to engage. You know, AC have done a tremendous work in, of course, our grassroots supports and building our prayer network. So that's fantastic because the word's getting out there at a grassroots level. But again, from a social media point of view, it's even, being a bit wiser in what we post, how we post. I think you might have seen some people post and omit words, but, we don't want to start doing that. We don't want to start, misspelling words so that the algorithms don't pick it up. I mean, it's silly. So the only way to actually counteract this is for us and other organisations to support each other, share content, engage with content, comment on, important content. That's the only way to kind of keep those algorithms changing and actually people interacting with the content is, just being really proactive and sharing, commenting, etc.
And I guess continue to engage at a grassroots level and just
100%
human to human and using other platforms and not really relying on social media because if this trend continues, social media may well become the enemy of the church. It may be the hat that the devil wears every day as he attacks the church. It may be something that you can never engage with in a logical, rational, fair conversation. It may never work in our favour.
And of course, we've seen that's why a lot of people have jumped onto other social platforms. But, we always see it as, unfortunately, you've got to be on these platforms to be able to engage with younger people. I mean, a party like AC, you've got everyone from 18 to 85. It's such a large demographic of people that you need to be able to communicate with and reach. And of course, again, socials is one aspect of that. And it probably most likely will become more difficult because AI, again, AI is also a great tool, but it's also a tool that can do a fair bit of harm because a lot of people aren't sort of delving beneath AI. They're not thinking through things. They're not researching for themselves. So even in the lead up to the election, I find that's quite worrying because if you've got especially younger people going, hey, what do these parties really stand for? And you can imagine if they find out, oh, well, here's a Christian party that is the most dangerous and least worthy of community support, people will often take that stuff at face value if they don't know any difference. So the grassroots will always be the most important thing, the face-to-face, the consistency in that. But it's just, really worrying, like I said, that social media is an important prong, but it is becoming more difficult to get the message out there.
Yeah, well, Maryka, you keep fighting the good fight. You are from the Australian Christians Party of WA. If people want to find you, your website is australianchristians.org.au. That's australianchristians.org.au. And at the moment, you can still find them on Facebook. They still have a Facebook page, which is Australian Christians. They're still on Insta. And I encourage you to check them out online and leave a post, leave a comment, leave a like or something. But Maryka Groenewald, who is the WA State Director for Australian Christians Party, I want to thank you for joining us on 2020 Today.
Always great. Thanks, Andrew.
Thanks for taking time to listen to this audio on demand from Vision Christian Media. To find out more about us, go to vision.org.au.